You are watching George Schlackegg.
The one and only.
Hello from the winter wonderland of what is our backyard here in Edmonton, Alberta. So last week I left off with the bike unfinished, and then the weather changed. So today is actually the first day that we're back to tolerable temperatures out here. It is right now 0 degrees in Edmonton. It's going to warm up to +1, then go back down. And warmer temperatures than this are on the forecast for middle of next week. So you guessed it. It's right now is my chance to do some work on this winter bike of mine. I don't know if I can get it done. I have about an hour and a half. So gotta do it bit by bit. So the first order of the day today is I'm going to put the drivetrain together, set up the derailleur limit screws. I have 2 derailleurs front and back that are, one is brand new out of the bag. That is going to be interesting. Here, I show you. See this? I ordered it originally for my touring bike. It came from China. It's a Shimano Tournée. These are cheap. They are, I think, 20 some odd dollar, if that. I put that on my touring bike, the predecessor of this one. And after about 300 kilometers or so, I tried to climb a hill with that. And one of these little screws that hold the jockey wheels came loose. The wheel popped out and everything got bent to shreds. So this wasn't successful. When I posted my review on Amazon reviews, obviously it wasn't very positive. So the seller asked me to change it, and he was going to send me a replacement. So okay, so I didn't change the story. I just changed the negative feedback. I said, well, this guy seems to be okay. He offered me a replacement, but I never put it on my touring bike. I put something from the 1980s on there that was in good shape that I could get for next to nothing. And it's on there till this day. Works fine. Now we're going to find out if this one is any better than the first one I got. So I installed this on the bike. The next step is, without having the chain on there, is to try and set both limit screws to limit the travel of the derailleur. So once the chain is on there, it will always stay on the sprockets. The bike stand is a bit shaky, but see, when I pull this inward, see, it goes way too far. So when you could look in there, this screw right here should be hitting here. So that's how you set the limit. Right now it is not reaching it at all, see? Also, what is a bit concerning already with this derailleur, it seems like there is a little gap on the bottom of this and the whole thing doesn't look straight. However, there isn't anything I can do about it, as far as I know, because I cannot access the screw that holds it on there inside of there. So I'm just gonna have to maybe eyeball it, straighten it. Maybe it's my derailleur hanger. I do not have the alignment tool for that, so I'll probably just eyeball it for now, just to get the bike going. Front derailleur, it's like a very basic one. See, it goes back and forth. And again, I have to do the same thing. There's limit screws here, and I will adjust them prior to putting the chain on, because it makes my life easier. See, right now where it's sitting for the inside this way, it seems like it's okay. Now if I pull this outwards, see, once again it goes too far. So it's got to stop about there. There's a minor change of plans because I just discovered that I have one of these. This is a really simple old derailleur for the rear, and it's got all metal, all steel parts. The only thing that's plastic on this thing, as far as I can tell, are the jockey wheels themselves. But everything else is steel. So I trust this a lot more than I trust this contraption that I got from Amazon. So this is going on my winter bike because I need something reliable. I don't want to be stuck somewhere on my way home in the middle of the night when it's minus 30 outside. You know, this, it won't break. I know that. This other thing there, it broke on me before. So yeah, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? So surprise, surprise, this part looks a lot better aligned with my sprockets, doesn't it? Now I got the same issue here. I gotta adjust the limit screw, which is really nothing. See, it goes in too far. Same idea. That screw right there needs to go in more. Alright, the big moment. Well, we got a working system here. It is, right now it is not complete because we don't have any cables on those derailleurs, but we can ride or drive this drivetrain. There seems to be a little hang up. Maybe that's where the connecting joint is. Right there. Yeah, I can see it hitting the derailleur, can you? It might just be need a little lube. I pushed the pin back in, that might be the problem. In order to get the new shifters on, I have to take off the brake levers, and in order to get them off, I have to take off the grips. What's the easy way to take the grips off? Well, as you may have noticed, I got a bucket of soapy water. I take a screwdriver and I pry my way in there carefully, not to destroy the grips, because I like these grips, they're awesome. So then I just work it around there a little bit to make sure the water can get in there. And the soapy water is warm, by the way, that helps to soften the rubber. I got it now. Alright, I can't really sit down there because there's snow on my bench, but I wanted to show you, see how I marked the brake handle. You can see the mark there. Slide it back on here, align it with the mark that I left on the handlebars. That is really simple. I don't know if you can see this, but now I have to turn it in a way that I can see the screw that I have to tighten. Now these ones, I'm going to adjust them once the handlebars are on the bike to see where they are most convenient to shift, where the best position is. But these are friction shifters, and I prefer these two index shifters, and I'll explain why that is. Okay, the explanation why I prefer friction shifters over index shifters, which is modern technology, versus friction shifters, ancient. Well, number one, my bikes are ancient. They have generally 6 speeds in the back, 2 or 3 in the front, so that's either an 18 or a 12 speed. With the friction shifters, it is very reliable because I control the travel of the cable with my thumbs. Index shifters have to be adjusted precisely just so, and they will work perfectly even with an 11 speed cassette in the back, as long as everything's perfect. Now in the winter or on rough roads, your derailleurs may get dirty, the temperatures change, they get wet, whatever, you get friction in your cables, and all of a sudden your index shifting may not work so perfectly, and that can be very frustrating. You either spend hours and hours trying to adjust this just so, hours and hours over time, or you just compensate by clicking your shifter twice just to shift once and then shift it back once and all this. I've been there. So with the friction shifters, I have no adjustments aside from my limit screws, and I control everything with my thumb. Beautiful. That's why I prefer friction shifters on all my bikes, and I believe the bike industry should offer this option even today. That's your explanation. Yeah, there's usually a line there that tells you where the maximum is, where it says min. You shouldn't go past this, right there. I gotta tighten that screw up there. I don't know how far I'll get with this tonight. See, I got these openings down there, and I gotta feed my cables through there. And that's gonna be a little tricky. I will be required to use both my hands and crawl underneath there. In order to get this cable set up as quickly as possible, I put this all the way into the position where the cable is longest, or where it's no tension on it. This is like that. Then I'll bring it through the housing, and then I'll hook it up to the rear derailleur. See, it goes right in there. There's the part that receives the cable, and there's a screw that with the little pinch washer or whatever you call it, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Well, I'm happy to report that I got the rear derailleur cable all hooked up, which means that I can shift this now. It is the reality here. The sun goes down early, my hands are cold. Well, I've got one of the shifter cables in there. I will keep you posted on how this is coming along. See, I put the seat post in there. That's the plastic seat I had on my road bike earlier. So I'll leave it right here. This bike isn't ready as I was hoping. The last week we've had temperatures always in the minuses, and we had snow. And it's not even this time of year yet, but sometimes the weather is like that, and especially in Alberta. So the next step is going to be this week. We're expecting a warm up to the double digits in Celsius. So probably on Tuesday or so I'm going to finish this off, and then I'll have a winter bike. It's like, wish me luck. And subscribe to my channel if you are inclined to do so. See you next time.